Okay, hey, where do I want to start on this? I'm just going to do a video, audio video, and while I'm dilly-dallying around and making dinner here, by talking about a heavier, deeper subject, keep on saying what is wrong with the country, what is right, making America great, having tragedies wherever we go, so this won't happen again. You know, we go through these things, and it's a social aspect that we keep on trying to wrap ourselves around, and just when we think we kind of got it figured out, the next generation pops in. Okay, and for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it social disease, because technically that's what it is. It's a disparity between society. It's a delusion and disease within the social structure of society itself, and being able to recognize it is always going to be morphing. It's always going to be changing. Depending on the era, depending on the generation you're talking about. We currently are in a situation where you have an elder class once again dictating to not only a younger class, but in a way that is very different ideologies, and the disillusionment that you have with society is what's causing the disruption. It's what's causing the disenfranchisement. It's causing the anger. It's causing so many different things. We have, on one hand, people that may be well-intended and thinking this is the way that America should be, going against people that are going, you're overstepping your boundaries. We need you to run the country. Okay? That disillusionment. Society is expanding, definitely. It's much like what we talk about with the cosmos. It's expanding at different rates. And you have to come together in the middle at some point. You can't listen to the fringes. And the fringes need to recognize, and they're the hardest ones to convince, but they need to recognize that they are the fringe. And it is for all teaching purposes, it is easy to show that. If we do truly live in a democracy, those that don't hold the numbers don't get to dictate the whole of society. They can have their say-so, and they're going to be disillusioned a lot of times because they're going to be shouted down when they bring up their concerns and proposals. However, the majority rules in this. But in the same token, the majority needs to, our majority and our social status needs to be recognized, and needs to recognize our social status in the world. What we may pride as our being, as our majority ruling, doesn't exactly fit into the world's view. Yeah, I've said this before to people that are I'll say of MAGA-minded and of right mainly, when they turn around and they start pushing their values and pushing America great and this and puffing their chests and stuff, and I turn around and go, you do know that we're outnumbered, right? By 2 countries alone. If you wanted to add ones that are in solidarity with each other as allies or something like that, we're definitely outnumbered on a bunch of different levels. So we don't get to push and dictate our chest anymore. This is not 100 years ago when we were. That's not to say that America isn't a great country. You can't define great anymore. Everyone's going to have a different definition. No different than what we knew about the cosmos 100 years ago. And now what we look out and see through the Webb telescope is vastly different. Vastly different. And so, in conclusion and trying to wrap up, we're all on the same page. It's just some of us are on the tattered fringes of it. Okay? And the page has been torn out of the book. It's just a page. It's just us. But if you're going to truly live on that democracy page, we all have to come together. And some of those sacrifices are going to be made from more than others, but definitely everyone has to sacrifice. The ruling party right now is blind to the fact of their role in society as a whole, not only in this country, but in a global sense. Some of the things they dictate, all they have to do is mention it, and it squarely goes against other countries' policies, and turns them off, and actually makes them distrust America even more so. Whereas we used to be the shining beacon on the hill. I'm not going on the religious end of things. I'm not going on the dictatorship of things. I'm not going on our political stance as much as we need to address ourselves first. And if we're going to address ourselves first, we need to understand our society first. Okay? And that doesn't mean to call names. That doesn't mean to tell each other that you're doing this wrong or whatever. It means to it means to understand the biggest social disease there is is not recognizing that you can have a social disease. That act of not recognizing us as a society, meaning, if you wanted to go on a religious end, one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. The foot does not know what the pancreas is doing. Okay? You can recognize it as that if you want. But we all are the same body. We all are Americans. And therefore, you cannot dictate without having some kind of compromise. And on the fringes, you cannot demand without understanding that you are not the majority. That's it. I know these are all generalities, but you know what? It works out. If you start being humble about things and looking at things in that light. We're all on the same planet. And we all still haven't gotten to the point that one country is not going to, that all countries are where they are and that's it. There are still some countries that, if given the nature, they would invade another one. They haven't got it through their head. Okay? There's a pride there. And I mean invade to take it over. And until that happens, then the empathy is not reigning. You're going to have horrific tragedies in the world. Like we had in World War I, like we had in World War II, like we've had in other little wars. That's the social disease that we deal with every day. That's what I wanted to say. I know it's a heavy one, but I got nothing but love for you. Treat each other nice. And understand that they have to treat you nice too. And don't give in to fear. Plain and simple. Anything beyond this life on this planet, we really don't have the answers on except for in a faith design. And that faith design is okay for the hope and the prayers of society, but it still isn't putting food on the table. It still isn't keeping you warm in the cold. It can, but that's through discernment and understanding. Okay? Have a great day.